There is so much I want to say, but obviously I'm very conscious of the fact that I got one of the tough slots of this conference just right before lunchtime, and after all the inspiring presentations and vibrant discussions that we have been experiencing. So, and yes, they have been 3 very inspiring days, marked by critical thinking, and I may even say strategic foresight. This year, we have reached the maximum number of registrations with 3,000 language professionals from around 100 countries. And I have to say that we had to actually refuse further registrations because of technical limitations. We'll try better next year. I wonder how big this forum can get. In fact, we have about 2,500 people online and about 500 here in person in Brussels, which demonstrates that the profession is alive and kicking. And I also I would like to take the opportunity to thank everybody that is here, but also out there in the virtual world, watching us, listening to us, now and in the future, because a lot of these forums, discussions, panels have been recorded, and they will be on the DGT YouTube channel for you to use and share. But the time has come to wrap up the 11th edition of our Translating Europe Forum. I would like to take a moment as we close this event to thank our keynote speakers, panelists, and hosts for all the online sessions as well that we had. So please join me with a big round of applause to all of them. But ladies and gentlemen, bear with me a few more minutes, as it is important to take a moment to distill our thoughts and bring together the main threads of our discussions over the last few days. Words matter, so which key words come to your mind after this TEF? I was going to put up a slide to see all of this, but for the sake of time, I'm not doing it. What I can say that the words that come to my mind, listening to some of the discussions, echo exactly the words of our President von der Leyen, which she declared in her political guidelines: all of us should act faster. She reminded us that even though the pace of change can be destabilizing at times, and I have sensed it throughout this forum, for these times, we need a union that is faster and simpler, more focused and more united, more supportive of people and companies and businesses. This edition of the Translating Europe Forum has proved over and over again that the language industry is moving fast. Many of our speakers during the past few days described many exciting developments, new services, and ideas that are actually still work in progress. But they also, like I said, directly or indirectly confirmed that the pace of change in the industry is remarkable. We need to act faster, become more focused, and I hope more united and supportive of each other. Support from the business world to academia, from academia to the public sector support for businesses, and so on. We are all interlinked. I would also like to say a few more personal words, especially to the young people in the audience here today and virtual. It can feel daunting at times to be starting a career in a time of great change and sometimes uncertainty. I took this word from one of the Slido polls where uncertain came up as the most voted word. But keep in mind that this is a profession that teaches you skills which are in high demand as we speak. The skill of listening, the skill of learning new languages and cultures, digital mastery, communicating clearly, problem solving, code cracking, adaptability, and like I said, critical thinking. These are all skills that will support you throughout the career you will have, wherever and whatever the future has in store for you. On the first day, we reflected on the values of language learning and language expertise. Values that enable a healthy, participatory democracy, and I heard this in some of the panels. In fact, this was the intention of the founders of the European Community when they first came together in 1952 to create peace out of the ashes of war. So much has changed, and yet those original values and goals still remain very true today. And on the topic of language learning, I want to take the opportunity also to thank our partners, the Directorate General for Education and Culture here in the Commission, for their lead on education, skills, and language learning, let alone their lead in the Erasmus program, for which a lot of you here from academia are very familiar with, and for sponsoring, of course, events such as TEF to support and propagate our multilingual ambition. Let me recall some of the words that matter coming from our speakers and panelists. One of our speakers on Wednesday commented on how the Translation Europe Forum has expanded since we first designed this event from all sides of the profession, expanded in scale and participation, but also in the scope of topics we cover in this forum. Translation, yes, but also clarity of meaning, trust, deeper issues of multilingual, cross-cultural communication. And I personally welcome this shift. We are looking at change and innovation and see the potential to expand our offering, to improve our skills, and to renovate, revamp our jobs. We also cast our minds to the future and the role of language experts in an undisputable era of AI. We need to confront it, we need to use it, and we need to embrace it in the way that suits us as a tool. We heard that Gen AI can be an opportunity for us as when large language models grow in value. But their value is rooted deeply in the quality of language data. They use, and what's more, the curating of this data by language experts is of paramount importance. In one of the panels, somebody mentioned the old IT motto of garbage in, garbage out. I always say to my peers, data is the second most important in this industry and profession, the first being people. And the success of AI systems is totally dependent on the data we feed them with. Language is both the most human skill of all, and it is also at the core of artificial intelligence. A paradox, a contradiction, but an inevitable evolution of the translation profession. One of our speakers suggested that in the new era, human linguists will be the guardians of meaning in a world dominated by AI. The guardians of meaning is a precise portrayal of what you all have been and will continue to be now and in the future. The asterisks, if I got it correctly. We need to make sure that the essence of human communication is not lost in the rigid logic of algorithms and coding. And I know very well what I'm talking about. I am an IT engineer. and I have been doing coding and algorithms. And the rigidity can be sometimes a constraint in what you actually want to achieve. So we need to make sure that the essence of the human control is there. All in all, TEF has showcased a great range of ideas, talent, creativity, and innovation. It gives me confidence that the language profession has what it takes to remain competitive and innovative as we navigate during this time. The panel that has just completed now the session here, discussing digital autonomy and technical sovereignty, are developments ongoing to create a European large language model. And this is a case in point because we are also, as EU institutions and within DGT, promoting the creation of an interinstitutional EU large language model. I think it was Andres that says that you are experimenting with the 5th largest supercomputer in Europe, the Lumi in Finland. We are experimenting with the 7th largest computer in Europe, the Leonardo in Bologna, for 1 year and try to increase the quality of various language pairs in terms of output using this supercomputer. So this echoes actually the messages from a recent report from a gentleman that the Commission appointed to assess the state of play in Europe, Mr. Mario Draghi, on innovation, decarbonization, and competitiveness. And Mr. Draghi confirmed, and I quote, "With the world on the verge of an AI revolution, Europe cannot afford to remain stuck in the middle technologies and industries of the previous century. We must unlock our innovative potential. This will be key not only to lead in new technologies, but also to integrate AI into our existing industries so that they can stay at the front, so that they can be competitive." The conversations we had during the forum demonstrate that the EU is indeed grasping the opportunities that AI offers, in line with our values, as it was also explained in the last panel here. The EU AI Act clearly spells out that in the EU we take a human-centric approach to AI to build trustworthy systems with a spirit of transparency, security, and absolute respect to data privacy. We did not have the time to engage in discussions about, in detailed discussions about all of these very crucial elements, but I think we will be dealing with these important topics in the days to come. Making safe, lawful, and trustworthy AI available in the EU can have a significant impact on our technological sovereignty. At the same time, we must prevent a new AI divide between those with access to advanced AI systems and those who cannot access or who do not have adequate access to AI systems. And these are words that matter. During the course of this forum, we have seen that there are already some tangible initiatives ongoing designed to convert ideas into actions. We talked about the initiative of the Commission to come together with a number of member states and set up a European digital infrastructure consortia specific to the language industry. The Alliance for Language Technologies is codenamed ALT-EDIC. This alliance aims to develop a common European infrastructure in language technologies to tackle the shortage of European language data that is so much needed to train AI models. The term of low resource languages in LLMs has already been mentioned, and it needs to be addressed here and now so that we have a fair treatment of all languages in the use of AI on our continent. This approach will bring together public and private resources to launch and develop new large models. I also add academia. We need to work together between the public sector, universities, and industry to make things happen. And I call this the triangle of success. This approach will support the development of an EU large language model made in the EU, for the EU, and compliant with the EU AI Act. This approach will facilitate the development of foundation models with multimodal capabilities, drawing on access to the necessary European high-performance computer power that we have deployed in Europe. You may know that one of the priorities of our President van der Leyen is to establish supercomputing power on the continent through the Euro-HPC joint venture project that has been mentioned, by deploying supercomputer technical infrastructure in various and different member states. We have 11 so far in 11 member states. 3 out of those 11 supercomputers have been classified within the 5 top supercomputers worldwide. We are competing across the Atlantic and in Asia regarding our technical infrastructure, and this is what we need to do to remain a player in the broader global economy. And this may be an initiative that you could also look into and explore. Andrei mentioned his company Tilde submitting a proposal to the Euro-HPC JV, winning access and hours in experimenting with supercomputing, and that is something that you all can do. The establishment of a supercomputer network throughout our continent is with the support of our Directorate General of Communications, Networks and Technology, DG Connect. And like I said, I consider it very instrumental in promoting innovation and facilitating the development, the progress in AI models. There is lots of exciting work ahead and plenty of talent, even in this room, of course, to do it, and do it well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed and benefited from this edition of the Translating Europe Forum. We all need, however, to be mindful of how fortunate we are to have the opportunity to come together and discuss these matters in a safe and welcoming environment. We should also remain mindful of what is happening to the communities in the neighborhood of our European Union. Communities who are still facing war and aggression. The people of Ukraine, the people in the Middle East. The European Union continues to be very resolute in condemning Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine and remains committed to supporting Ukraine's repair, recovery, and reconstruction. We are supporting the people who are displaced by this war. We will continue to provide financial assistance to the member states that help the refugees out of this war with their medical and educational needs. We will continue to work with Ukraine together and other institutional and international partners on finding a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace for that area. We are also very concerned, extremely concerned, by the situation in the Middle East. And we continue to call for restraint, for an end to the hostilities, and for applying international and humanitarian law in that area. Here, too, we will continue to provide assistance, and we will scale up our humanitarian support in that region. Within this political climate, we should also reflect on the recent election results across the Atlantic and strive to safeguard the so much needed alliances, not oppose, not look at the results in a way that can put in danger possibilities of alliance and moving forward. But now it's time to come to an end and a close and enjoy more networking accompanied by a lunch in the foyer just outside. So while the sessions of the TEF are still fresh in your minds, I would like to ask you to take a moment to send in your feedback. As you have noticed, we have added some new features to our conference this year. The Newcomers Fair on the first morning of the conference, TED-like talks, ask the experts sessions. So please provide us with your feedback, which we will use to design next year's TEF, because yes, we will have a 12th edition of TEF. Thank you all for your contribution during this fantastic event, but I would like to extend my personal thanks, and I think also on behalf of all of us, to our hosts, Anna and Micha. Special thanks to all the DGT trainees, especially those that volunteered to support this event. And we are one of the institutions that we are really providing traineeship opportunities within the Commission for European graduates that are interested. We have actually this year the biggest number of trainees in DGT that we ever had, 49. My personal thanks and congratulations also to the organizing team here in DGT. They are all over here, Monica and her team. And last but not least, thanks to all of you, the participants here, the participants out there. You have made this a success, and thank you very much. I said and I committed, I'm not done yet, 1 minute more. I said and I committed that this will continue and we will have a 12th edition for the Translating Europe Forum next year. But I would like to leave you with the words of one of the great thinkers, and I would like to call him philosopher myself. His name is Sigmund Freud. And I think he really knew the depth of the power of languages. He said, and I quote, "Words have magical power. They can either bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. Words do matter. Let's use them wisely." Have an excellent weekend, and for those of you traveling, have a safe trip. Thank you very much.
Thank you.